I started running in 2007 after our daughter was born. She was, I think, probably around like 8 or 9 months old, and I could not lose weight. I was frustrated, all the things. I had none of the gear. I just like grabbed whatever sneakers I had, some sweatpants. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I just started getting out there. And so since 2007, I've been running like somewhat consistently. And then it was in 2020, I got super sick, wasn't able to run, and had that moment of like, wow, I don't ever want to take this for granted. And then that kind of coincided with you, because it was probably around 2021 for you, right?
That I really started running. So if I go back to the time frame of 2007, I would run a little bit because I didn't want to get winded playing basketball.
Yeah.
And so I would run a little bit, but I never thought I was a runner. I actually kind of rejected the identity of I am a runner. But then you got me to sign up for a 5K, and I didn't want to embarrass myself.
It was a drumstick dash in 2021.
Yeah, and I didn't want to embarrass myself, so I did like a 5K training, and did okay in the 5K.
Ran the whole thing.
I also found myself getting healthier and healthier. I was losing weight. I had kind of changed some of my diet habits at the same time, and I was finding my way towards a version of me that I wanted to be, a healthy version of me, and running was like the linchpin for that. And so I decided, like, I'm just going to keep running. And through our marriage, through our relationship, you kind of gave me some tools and some mindsets to like push myself more than I thought I could do. You were training up, but then you hurt your foot and you couldn't run the full marathon.
I was devastated. I got up to 15 miles and I got an injury in a tendon in my foot. Went to the doctor and everything, and I had to stop running for 6 weeks to let it heal. But that stopping meant I couldn't complete my training and like actually run the marathon like in a way that would be healthy for my body. I was devastated.
So we had this cool idea. We had this cool idea of,
well, this particular marathon allows relays.
Yeah. So we pivoted it to, I said, you know, what if you got someone to run with you, and find someone that can also run a half marathon, and you do the half marathon, which you've already done, and that way you can still kind of do the thing. And she said, I know someone else who could do a half marathon. You. And I was like, awesome.
He had not run. He had been consistently running still, but had not run that distance, and still was not calling himself a runner. Had not bought running shoes. No. Was just like wearing whatever like,
I mowed the lawn with.
Yes. Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah. So then, but I really like her, and so I decided, okay, like there's something beautiful about us completing something like that together. If she has a slight injury that she's recovering from, and I could help carry the weight, that's how we want our marriage to be anyway. So if there was something that felt poetic about that, and so we signed up for the relay half marathon, and we ran the Vermont City Marathon together as a relay.
Motivation is like a pretty funny dynamic between us. We have really different personalities. I'm a pretty disciplined person. Like if I make a plan, I'm probably going to follow it. I make the plan and I do the plan. It's like it's just like a decision for me.
I admire that so much.
Yeah.
I wish I was like that.
Yeah, he kind of rides my motivation.
So my motivation is people-based, and so like in our relationship, I adore her, and so like one of the things that I feel like has come out of running for us over the last couple of years is I feel like our relationship is stronger, our relationship is healthier, and I feel like I get to like be her #1 fan by like doing it with her.
Yeah.
And that's where like I know that that's my motivation for why I do it. So I'll get up and do the training without you during the week because I want to be ready to like run with
on
you
Saturday.
on a Saturday. And so that's where you're motivated because you're excited to do the plan, to knock out the plan, to accomplish the goal. I'm motivated because I'm so glad I get to do it with her, and I just want to spend the time with her. As we've stepped into like training with Coach Pat on endless training, like now we've found other people that like I'm there to do it with the people. You're there because they've done it before. We're training for the Blue Ridge Marathon, and they've done that before. And so you've got some people who you're like, okay, I can learn some things and do some of the hills and stuff, do some of the mountains on the run. The other thing I would say is you got to know the difference between optional and flexible.
Yeah.
Because
That's
there
actually
has to
pretty
be,
important.
there has to be flexibility in
Yeah.
the training plan. Like there are, like yesterday I was supposed to run 6 miles, or I had the opportunity to run 6 miles. And my day didn't allow for it. I had too many things stacked up. But that's okay. Like I'm flexible with that.
Yeah.
And so I'll run those 6 miles today, which was going to be, today was the rest day. I just swapped the two. But if you start to if I started to allow myself to think of it as optional, like, okay, that 6 miles is something I can or don't have to do. And sometimes there are those runs. Sometimes this is an optional run and you can truly think of it that way. I just have to think of it more as like, I can be flexible with this training plan, but I don't ever, one thing I say to her is like, I didn't know it was optional. If it's raining outside, like the run isn't optional. It's still a choice that I make. And so that's part of, that's like a pre-decision that I make about how I approach like our training and how we approach running now is, it's not optional, we're gonna do it. We're flexible with it, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I set my clothes out at night before, like regardless of what is like the weather or anything.
Yeah.
Like you just set your clothes out and then it's really hard to walk past them in the morning. So when we started running together in 2022, that's when we started, like before that, I feel like we had run separately quite a lot, but we were doing more runs together, especially our Saturday runs. And I feel like it just took our marriage to another level. Because there's something really special about just like spending time side by side with someone you really care about, whether that's like a sister or a spouse or a friend or whatever. And especially with marathon training, you're spending hours next to that person just talking. It just does something really solid for your relationship. And we were really experiencing that. And I was wanting to talk about it. And so I felt like on my own social media, people were like, oh my gosh, running. And so I really wanted to.
We do talk about running a lot now.
We do, yeah. But we really wanted a space to be able to talk about like running and marriage and how like for us, those are really connected. We've been married 21 years. And I feel like our marriage is better than ever, and I think running has a lot to do with that.
I'll give you a core memory. That like what has become a core memory for me. We were training for our first marathon, and we had the weekend, the first time that we needed to run. I think it was 18. I want to say it was 20 because it's a nice round number, but I think it was 18. And we ran the 18 miles, and we finished out here by River's Edge Park. Do you remember this?
Yep.
And
I know what you're gonna say. It was 20.
Yeah. It was the 20?
Yeah.
Okay. So
we'd never run 20 miles before.
We had never, neither of us had run 20 miles together before. And we had to do like a little extra to hit that 20.
Gotta have that round number.
You gotta hit that round number. And so we ran through some trees out near River's Edge to get to that 20.
Those magnolias.
This is where like I remember this moment specifically. And then when my phone hit 20 and hers hadn't hit 20 quite yet, and then her watch hits 20, and the way that like we turned and embraced ran to each other to be like, we did it, we just did that. And like completing the marathon's awesome and all of that, but like I have great memories of that, but I almost have tears in my eyes because I'll never forget the feeling of being able to like hold each other and accomplish that together, and to like actually understand how meaningful that was to her if I hadn't picked up running, because now I understood like what it took to get to that. And so to be able to celebrate that moment together. And so I feel like that's kind of an anecdote to help illustrate why like the running our marriage tagline, you know, to have moments like that and to have memories like that, and to even say that's a parallel to life, that's a parallel to like what we do when we're trying to get through hard things in our day-to-day lives, and then to be able to turn to each other and embrace each other and be like, hey, we made it through that hard thing together. There's something different about that for us, and so that's something that we're really that we really believe in, and we're really grateful for what it represents to us and what it's become for us. Roanoke Mountain is the best one, I think. I mean, it's hard, but like I think it's cool to be able to even see like the Mill Mountain from the Roanoke Mountain and see like, I'm about to run from here to
there,
there, or you know what I mean? And to make that connection of like this is really cool what we get to do. And so I really liked the Roanoke Mountain climb. That's the wrong thing. I liked the peak of the Roanoke Mountain, and they made the climb worth it.
Yeah, I say the payoff of Roanoke Mountain is the best. But I don't know, Mill Mountain holds a special place in my heart. Run into the Star is just like, I don't know, that feels special to me.
Yeah.
So I feel torn. I guess I'd say Roanoke Mountain.
Anyone who's afraid of the Blue Ridge Marathon needs to know that the downhills are awesome.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I think people,
yeah,
I didn't realize.
Your body really does recover.
There is a recovery in that downhill. So that would be the other thing is I kind of liked the Peakwood downhill. Like that was fun for me. So
we had run 3 marathons. Our third one was last fall in November, and
we did it.
I know. And I was like, and I'm always like, okay, what's the next thing? And I was like, okay, I think we're ready to do Blue Ridge. And he was like,
I said, we're not ready.
He was like, no. And I said, but I feel like, because up until now, we've just trained the 2 of us together. Like we hadn't been with a group or anything like that. But I was like, I feel like we need some more people, especially like some people who have like some experience, who have run this before or whatever. And we'd followed Fleet Feet just like on social media and that kind of a thing, like for a long time. And so I knew that they had like group runs, that kind of a thing. And so I just started like looking around, like who has training for Blue Ridge. And that's when I came across Endless Training for Fleet Feet, like on their website. And so I just like kind of sent an email like, hey, can I find out more about this? And I got this email back from Coach Pat that was so extensive. And he was basically just like, just come try. Just like, come on a Saturday, come see what we're about. So we just really connected to Coach Pat, but then also there was a group of people who were going to do Blue Ridge with us, and some of them have run it before. And so getting to run alongside people who have already experienced like the thing that you're training for, for me, that's been so comforting.
Yeah, you just get to ask the questions. You get to go into it with the right mindset to know what to expect. It's been great to like run with those people. I think the thing that impressed me the most about Endless Training and Coach Pat specifically, and everyone like that we've been able to connect with, is the amount of like positivity and belief that
it's so supportive.
We're able to tap into. Because there's one thing to like to find the motivation within yourself, and there's certain element of like you have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But when you're already a little bit like, oh, I hear that there's 3 mountains in this marathon. I don't know if I can do it. And you talk to someone who's been there before, who's like walked that path or ran that path literally, and then can say to you like, no, I just watched you run, or we're running together. You can do this. You can do this. You can train for that. I think sometimes when you're approaching something challenging, if you can get the right voices around you, it instills a belief in you that will help you power through those hard things and actually accomplish the challenging things. And so that's where the Endless Training has been really great for us to build a little community of people that like, hey, we believe in this together. We're gonna do this together. We're gonna do hard things together, and we're gonna celebrate accomplishing those hard things together. So when we're in the text thread and we're sharing photos from the top of a mountain with each other, and we're celebrating each other as the running community does, which I was blown away by. Like, it helps you feel like oh, I'm actually doing something here. Like, I'm actually, we're going to be able to do this. Like, so that's where that Endless Training has been. I'm really, really grateful for it. Really grateful for what it's meant to us.
Yeah, and I think just like the community building is such an important part of it, because like I feel like we already between us had like a really like supportive thing going for running. But being able to like bring even more people into that and get to know more people, and to be that for other people, and have them be that
for other people
too, and then have them
be
that for us, right? Like it's just been like there have been a couple Saturdays like where he was traveling and I still had a group of people to run with, and I just think that like we already have this plan on our second 20-mile run. We're all gonna go to Scratch Biscuit together after our run. Did you know?
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I think we made that but it's just like I think when it makes you feel like you're part of something bigger too, and it's just like, I don't know, it's like a really special thing to be a part of.
Yeah.